Hi everyone, Patricia Worby, Alchemy Therapies here, and another in my occasional series talking about my own journey through the healing process. And today I want to talk about tinnitus, which is a very common condition and one that many people suffer from. And I myself have tinnitus. I particularly have it right now because something rather odd happened yesterday when I got up. I was having breakfast. Felt slightly itchy in one ear, put my finger in my ear like you do, waggled around, and hey presto, blocked ear. I must have pushed something into my ear canal. So I'm actually partially deaf in this ear now. And because of what I think it is, which is probably wax, I hope it is nothing worse. It's pressing on the hairs, the cilia, on the side of the ear canal. And ears are very interesting structures in that obviously they're made of, the ear canal is made of skin, but unlike normal skin, it can't be washed. And so ear wax is there to help clean and keep the ear canal free of bacteria. It's actually antibacterial. So it's a good thing in general, but it can be overproduced or it can be undercleared, because it's a constant turnover, or should be. Now, what seems to have happened with me, as I'm talking to you now, it's really clicky. I can hear my own internal clicking. That's the awful thing as well. You actually get a build-up sometimes of wax, and if it isn't cleared well enough, particularly if your body temperature is low, and that's true for me because I'm hypothyroid, still battling that one as well. It can't be turned over as well as it would normally, and so the pressure builds because wax can harden at low temperatures like any form of wax. And so when it hardens and it lays against the cilia or hairs on the ear canal, that's where you get the ringing. So that's one cause of tinnitus. It isn't the only cause. There is another theory that tinnitus is a brain-derived condition of the absence of stimulation. So let's look at that theory. So in this case, it's not a direct effect of the wax. It's the fact that the wax is sitting on the cilia and stopping them from moving and receiving airflow information, temperature information, and so on. And so the brain, in its attempt to make up the difference, adds in a sound. It sort of stimulates the nerves that relay sound to the brain. So it could actually be an internally generated signal from the absence of external signals. So that's another theory. There is also vagal involvement. Now, the vagus nerve, so-called because it's also called the wanderer, it goes everywhere pretty much in the body, is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. And it's the longest nerve in the body. It's one of the most important, but it has two branches. It has a dorsal and a ventral. The ventral part goes to the head, neck, face, and I'm guessing that's the bit that is involved in this situation. And it has the dorsal, which is a much older structure and goes to the internal organs, in particular heart. Vagal innervation of the heart actually controls heart rate, whether it speeds up or slows down, depending on your body posture. And that can go awry and cause all sorts of things like POTS, or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And various other things like palpitations, but it also goes to other organs, the liver, the kidneys. And the only one it doesn't go to, interestingly, is the adrenal glands. And there must be a body reason for that, which I haven't yet investigated, but must do. But obviously the adrenals are part of the sympathetic nervous system. So perhaps that's actually, just thinking about it, that's probably why you can't have something being innervated by two different, opposite systems, perhaps. I don't know. So it's just worth noting then that the vagus nerve can become unbalanced. It's a very important nerve because it transmits threat or safety throughout the body. Parasympathetic system is normally considered to be a rest and digest system as opposed to the sympathetic fight and flight. But we know that there is this second parasympathetic, the dorsal system, actually conveys deep body threat to the system. So it says, I am about to die. I'm in such overwhelm that I need to shut down everything. And that's a very, very important system for chronic illness like chronic fatigue syndrome, which I've talked about before. So I don't think that's what's going on with me, although I have had a lot of stress recently, as you probably, if you've been following me at all, will know. There is stuff going on in my mother's life that's very, very difficult for me because she's aging and suffering a little now from memory loss. So there is a lot to deal with in that scenario, and there's a lot of fear around how she will be on any one day and what the long-term prognosis is. And also for me as a daughter, thinking, is that how I'm going to be, in 20, 30 years time, and what's going to happen to me? So I think there's a lot of fear around. Now, I have a friend and colleague, Jane Lumley, and she does a lot of remote sensing of what your body needs and what it wants, and she's remarkably accurate. And I consulted her this morning, and she said, your vagus nerve needs stimulation and you need to start singing. Yes, singing. Did you know that singing or humming or gargling as well, gargling is another way of doing it if you're not fond of singing, to actually stimulate your vagus nerve. So I've been gargling this morning. I've even had a little sing on my own as well. And she said it'll go in 2 to 3 days. So let's see if that happens. In the meantime, I have a backup appointment at the GP because I'm not totally stupid. I do think sometimes we need conventional medicine as well. And so if necessary, I can have my ear syringed. But that's quite a severe thing to have done. I mean, it sort of washes everything out, including the microbiome, which, by the way, did you know your ear canal has a specific set of microbes? It's not the same as the ones on the rest of your skin, or for ladies, on your internal skin in the vagina. So it's actually very unique to the ear, and it keeps the ear healthy. So if you syringe it out, obviously it's like having a colonic irrigation through your gut. Very much the same idea. So your body has to then start again and repopulate. So obviously something going on. I'm going to keep you updated as I continue, but for the moment I'm just gargling, tapping, singing, and putting eardrops in, obviously, to try and soften the wax, and hopefully my body will restore itself. But saying goodbye for the moment from a one-sided view of the world, because I really am quite deaf in this ear, so a very, very strange feeling, and can be quite frightening as well. So do look up these methods online. I will try and put some links in of vagal stimulation because they're really important. If you do suffer from tinnitus, you should know that it can be dealt with and you don't need to suffer. Okay, well, that's all from me, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now. Look me up on Alchemy Therapies. Bye-bye.